Listen to me. You got two choices every single morning when your eyes open. Make up with purpose or stay asleep with regret. There's no in between. There's no maybe. There is no someday. It's either you're up chasing it or you're laying there letting it slip away. Every single morning, the moment your eyes open, you're faced with a decision, one that may seem small, but it defines your entire life. You can either wake up with purpose, intention, and fire in your soul, or you can roll over, hit snooze, and go right back to sleep. Physically, mentally, and emotionally. Our choice is more than just about getting out of bed. It's about choosing your future over your comfort. It's about choosing your dreams over your excuses. That moment, those few seconds right after waking, are some of the most powerful moments of your entire day. Most people don't realize that success doesn't start when you get to the office or when you open your laptop or when you step into the gym. It starts the moment you decide to get up. That moment says everything about you. Are you someone who runs to a responsibility or someone who hides from it? Are you someone who leads your life or lets life lead you? The difference between someone who lives with drive and someone who lives in delay is made clear the moment that alarm rings. Waking up with purpose means you don't just rise because you have to. You rise because you want to. You wake up because you've got something to do, something to build, something that matters to you so deeply it pulls you out of bed before your body is ready. Purpose is stronger than sleep. Purpose is louder than fatigue. It gives you a reason to ignore the comfort of the pillow and step into the challenge of the day. That mindset, that decision to begin your day with intention is what separates people who talk from people who do it. But let's not sugarcoat it. It's hard. Purpose isn't easy. There will be mornings where everything inside you wants to stay under the covers. There will be days when you're tired, discouraged, and unsure. That's normal, but if you've committed to living a life that means something, then you can't afford to wait for comfort. You don't wake up for comfort, you wake up for calling. That calling doesn't care how you feel, it's waiting on your action. The people who get results in life are the ones who show up even when they're tired, even when they're scared, even when they feel like quitting. The moment you choose to get up with purpose, everything shifts. Your energy changes. Your mindset sharpens. You don't waste time scrolling or snoozing or stalling. You move. You begin your day already ahead of everyone still asleep on their dreams. You start with momentum, and that momentum builds into action, and that action builds into progress. That's how change happens, not in giant leaps, but in small daily choices made with intention. Most people think motivation is what drives you to get up. But the truth is, motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. What really drives you is discipline connected to purpose. You don't get up early because it feels good. You get up early because your goals are too important to wait. You refuse to let your life be led by feeling, and instead you're led by commitment. You don't need permission to chase what's yours. You give yourself permission every single morning when you choose purpose over passivity. People wonder why they're stuck, why they aren't where they want to be, why nothing seems to be working. And often the answer is simple. They're sleeping on themselves, literally and metaphorically. They're staying in bed while life moves on. They're dreaming with their eyes closed instead of living with their eyes open. And every time they hit snooze, they delay the version of themselves they could be. You can't live your full potential from under the blankets. You can't conquer anything if you're not willing to face the morning. Purpose doesn't mean you've got everything figured out. It means you got a reason to show up, a reason to keep moving, a reason to fight through the fog of doubt and fatigue and keep chasing what matters. You live with that kind of focus, you begin to realize that every morning is a new opportunity, a new battle, and a new chance to become the person you're meant to be. And that battle is won not in the big decisions, but in the small one you make when the alarm goes off and you say to yourself, let's go. I've got something to do today. Comfort is a trap disguised as a reward. It feels good in a moment, but it steals from your future. Growth, on the other hand, is uncomfortable. It demands more from you. It stretches you, pushes you, breaks you down, and rebuilds you. That's why most people choose comfort. They don't want the pressure that comes with change. But if you want something different in life, if you want more than what you have now, then you got to make a decision to step out of comfort and walk straight into discomfort, because that's the only path to real growth. The bed is warm, the couch is soft, Scrolling your phone, watching videos, avoiding the grind. Those things are easy. They're effortless. But they give you nothing in return. That's comfort. It welcomes you with open arms and quietly kills your ambition. It makes you feel safe while it robs you of your purpose. The truth is, comfort is the enemy of greatness. No one who changed the world did it from their comfort zone. No one built a legacy by staying where it was easy. You say you want success. You say you want to level up. You say you want to make a difference, but how badly do you want it? Because the price is high. The cost is discomfort. The cost is waking up earlier than you want to. It's showing up when you don't feel like it. It's putting in hours while others rest. Growth demands pain. It demands sacrifice. It asks you to trade in your excuses for effort. And if you're not willing to pay that price, you're not ready for what you say you want. You've got to understand the version of you that has the life you dream about is not the same version of you that's comfortable right now. That version is stronger, wiser, more disciplined, more focused. And the only way to become that version is to go through things that make you uncomfortable. Growth comes through pressure. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Muscles grow under tension. Minds sharpen through struggle. There's no shortcut. There's no hack. Just work, pain, and persistence. We live in a world addicted to ease. We want quick results, instant gratification, fast rewards. So people avoid the grind and settle for less. They say things like, I'll start next week, or I'll wait until I feel motivated. But that's comfort talking. That's fear in disguise. That's weakness dressed up as logic. You don't grow by waiting. You grow by doing. Even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, because that's where strength is built. Not when it's easy, but when it's uncomfortable and you push through anyway. There will be days when you want to quit. Days when your body aches and your mind is tired. When doubt creeps in and whispers, this isn't worth it. That's when you got to dig deep. That's when you remind yourself why you started. That's when you choose growth over comfort. Because every time you push through discomfort, you get closer to the life you were meant to live. Every time you take a step forward in pain, you build confidence, resilience, and belief in yourself. People often ask, how do I become more disciplined? The answer is simple. Start choosing what's hard. Wake up early. Stick to your schedule. Train when you're tired. Study when you're bored. Do the thing you don't feel like doing. Discipline is born in discomfort. Every time you choose growth over ease, you train your mind to obey your purpose, not your emotions. That mindset is what separates high achievers from average performers. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's the willingness to suffer for the sake of something greater. Comfort will lie to you. It will say, you deserve a break when you haven't earned it. It will say, you can try again tomorrow when today is slipping away. And if you listen to it long enough, you'll wake up one day wondering where the time went, where your goals went, where your hunger went. You'll realize you traded everything for nothing. That's the danger of comfort. It feels good now and hurts later. But growth, it hurts now and rewards you later. So every day you're faced with a choice. Do what's comfortable or do what's necessary. You either stay where it's safe or you step into the unknown. You either repeat the same cycle or you break through and evolve. The pain of growth is temporary, but the pain of staying stuck lasts forever. And the truth is, the longer you stay comfortable, the further you drift from your potential. Time is not unlimited. You don't have forever. You don't have all the time in the world to figure things out, to chase your dreams, or to become the person you're meant to be. That's the lie we tell ourselves, that we can start tomorrow, next week, next year when we feel ready, when things settle down, when life gets easier. But life doesn't wait. Time doesn't pause. Every second that ticks by is one you'll never get back. And every day you delay is a day you surrender to average. The clock is always ticking, whether you're moving or not. There's this dangerous mindset that makes people believe there's still time, that they can sleep a little longer, scroll a little more, wait a little bit. But the truth is, you don't know how much time you've got left. You assume tomorrow is promised. You assume you'll always have another chance. But life doesn't work that way. Opportunities don't wait for the unprepared. Time doesn't stop for the lazy. If you're not moving forward, you're falling behind because the world keeps turning whether you show up or not. You think you're being patient, but what you're really doing is stalling. You think you're playing it safe, but you're playing small. Every time you choose later instead of now, you lose a piece of your potential. You drift further from your goals. You train your mind to accept excuses. And one day you wake up and realize that the things you once believed you could do are now just faded ideas, distant memories of what could have been. That's the price of wasting time. It's not just the hours you lose, it's the life you never live. There are people out there right now with less talent than you, less resources than you, less support than you, but they're ahead of you because they didn't wait. They didn't hesitate. They took action when they were scared. They showed up when they were unprepared. They used the time they had, even when it wasn't ideal. That's what separates winners from watchers. It's not the circumstances, it's the urgency. They understood that time is currency and they spent it with purpose. You've got dreams, you've got ideas, but if you keep putting them off, they'll ride off. All kids back. That fire inside you, it doesn't stay burning forever. If you don't feed it with action, it dies. And the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to start. Procrastination is not just a habit. It's a lifestyle of slow surrender. It convinces you that tomorrow is just as good as today. But tomorrow is a thief. It steals your motivation, your discipline, your opportunity, and eventually it steals your belief. People always say, I'll start when I feel ready. But ready never comes. The truth is, no one ever feels fully ready. You're not supposed to. Growth comes from stepping before you're sure, leaping before you know how to land, starting before you feel qualified. If you wait for perfect timing, you'll be waiting forever. There's no perfect moment. There's only now. Right now is all you've got. Right now is your shot. What you do in this moment determines everything about the moments that follow. You don't need more time. You need more urgency. You need to realize that every day is a blessing, not a guarantee. You need to wake up with a sense of responsibility to your future. You need to act like your time is precious because it is. People waste hours like they can get them back. They waste years as if they'll be young forever. But time doesn't care how successful you want to be. Today, it doesn't care how big your dreams are. It only rewards those who move with purpose. There's a saying, the best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is today, not later today, not tomorrow, not next week. Right now, because if you don't make the most of this moment, you'll be chasing time the rest of your life. And the worst part is you'll be haunted by the knowledge that you could have done something, that you should have done something, but you didn't. And when you run out of time, there's no reset button, no do-over, no negotiation. Time is the one thing you can't earn back. You can lose money and make it back. You can lose relationships and rebuild them, but once a moment is gone, it's gone forever. And what you do with your time is a reflection of what matters to you. If you spend your time on distractions, on comfort, on meaningless things, then don't be surprised when your life feels empty, because life is made up of how you spend your time. And your future is shaped by the decisions you make in the present. Regret is a voice that never goes silent. It doesn't shout when you're busy or distracted. It waits. It waits for the quiet moments, for the late nights, for the times when you're alone with your thoughts. And then it whispers, slowly and painfully reminding you of everything you could have done but did, every opportunity you let slip, every goal you postponed, every time you chose comfort over action. That voice doesn't go away. It lingers in the background of your life, growing louder every time you walk away from something you know you should have chased. The thing about regret is that it doesn't hit you all at once. It creeps in slowly. It starts with small things, missing one workout, skipping one study session, putting off one important decision. You tell yourself, it's just once or I'll do it tomorrow. But those small decisions start stacking up. And before you realize it, you built a life out of hesitation and delay. You start to notice that the gap between where you are and where you want to be is widening. That's how regret works. It builds silently until it becomes a weight too heavy to ignore. Regret doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care that you were tired, that life got busy, that things didn't go your way. It only reminds you that you didn't try hard enough, that you gave up too soon, that you let fear decide for you. And when what hurts the most is not what happened, it's what didn't happen. It's the dreams that died in your comfort zone, the chances you never took, the greatness you never stepped into because you were too afraid of failing or too lazy to start. People think pain comes from trying and failing, but that's not the real pain. The real pain comes from not trying at all. Because when you try and fail, at least you have the satisfaction of knowing you gave it everything. At least you can look yourself in the mirror and say, I showed up. But when you don't try, when you back down, when you stay silent or stay comfortable or stay stuck, all you're left with is that voice that says, you could have done more. That's the voice of regret, and it's ruthless. You can't escape regret by ignoring it. You can only escape it by taking action before it has the chance to form. By doing the work now, by stepping into your fear, by choosing discipline over delay. Every time you choose action over inaction, you weaken regret's grip on your life. You take back control. You start building a life that's driven by purpose, not haunted by what ifs. Because the truth is, the only way to silence regret is to do the thing it's warning you about, the thing you keep putting off, the thing that scares you, the thing that matters. So many people carry regret like a secret burden. They smile on the outside, but inside they're wondering what could have been if they had just pushed a little harder, started a little sooner, believed in themselves a little more. They wonder what kind of life they might have built if they hadn't let time slip through their fingers. And that wondering becomes a shadow that follows them everywhere. You don't want that. You don't want to look back 10 years from now and realize you were capable of so much more, but chose to do nothing with it. Regret doesn't just live in the big decisions. It lives in the small ones you make every day. Every time you choose distraction over discipline. Every time you talk yourself out of a challenge. Every time you say a later P instead of a now. Those decisions may feel small in the moment, but they create the story of your life. A life that either reflects courage or hesitation, commitment or avoidance, growth or comfort. The question is, what story are you writing right now? You can't get time back. You can't undo decisions, but you can make a different choice today. You can decide that the voice of regret will not be the narrator of your life. You can choose to get up, to show up, to do the work, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Because that's how you build a life that regret can't touch. A life that says, I didn't wait. I didn't back down. I didn't let fear or laziness define me. That life doesn't come from comfort. It comes from action, sacrifice, and a relentless refusal to quit. Excuses are the lies we tell ourselves to feel better about not doing the work. They sound smart, they sound reasonable, but they're just polished versions of fear and laziness. Excuses are the chains that keep you tied to the same spot while the rest of the world moves forward. You say, I don't have time, but you spend hours on your phone. You say, I'm too tired, but you stay up watching meaningless content. You say it's not the right moment, but you've been saying that for years. Excuses don't protect you, they paralyze you. Every excuse you make is a brick in the wall between you and your goals. And every time you feed that wall with another excuse, it grows taller and thicker until you can't even see the dream on the other side anymore. That's how people lose. That's how people with potential end up stuck in average lives. Not because they weren't good enough, but because they kept convincing themselves why it couldn't happen instead of fighting for why it could. Excuses let you off the hook in the short term, but they cost you everything in the long run. They give you comfort today and regret tomorrow. They allow you to feel okay with doing less, with being less, with staying stuck. But deep down, you know when you're lying to yourself. You know when you're making up reasons instead of owning your responsibility. And that truth doesn't go away. It sits in your heart and grows heavier with every excuse you make. You have to be willing to confront yourself. You have to be honest about the role you play in your situation. Because the moment you take full ownership, no blaming, no complaining, that's when everything can change. Ownership means looking in the mirror saying, it's on me. No one's coming to save me. If I want something, I've got to go out and get it. That mindset is rare. Most people would rather protect their ego than face their reality. But you can't grow until you stop making excuses and start making moves. Excuses are rooted in fear, fear of failing, fear of being judged, fear of discomfort. But if you let fear run your life, you'll always play small. You'll always talk big and live small. The people who win are not the ones who feel no fear. They're the ones who feel and act anyway. They understand that fear is part of the process, but excuses have no place in progress. In progress, they choose accountability over avoidance. That's how winners think. Think about this. Every time you choose an excuse, you delay the results you say you want. You keep yourself stuck in the same cycle, wondering why nothing is changing. But change doesn't come from intention alone. It comes from action. And action requires you to face the hard things without hiding behind easy outs. You want to be in shape? No excuses. You want to build a business? No excuses. You want to create a better life? No excuses. The formula is simple. Show up. Formula is simple. Show up, do the work, stay consistent. But the execution, that's where most people fold, because they want the reward, but they don't want the responsibility. Excuses trick you into believing that you're not in control, that the problem is your boss, your schedule, your background, your circumstances. But those things are only obstacles if you allow them to be. People have risen from worse with less. People have overcome impossible odds because they refuse to let excuses define them. And if they can, so can you. But not until you kill the excuses. Not until you stop telling yourself why you can't and start proving why you can. There's always going to be a reason to quit, a reason to wait, a reason to stop. But that's what discipline is for. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. Even when the excuses are loud, even when the path is difficult, discipline silences excuses. It replaces emotion with execution. And when you live with that level of discipline, you become unstoppable. Not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger. So ask yourself, are you building your life on discipline, or are you building it on excuses? Are you feeding your potential or feeding your doubts? The difference is in what you allow. You either rise above your excuses or you live under them. And every single day, the choice is yours. You can either keep making excuses or you can make progress. You can't have both. You've got to decide what matters more, protecting your comfort or pursuing your greatness. Discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality. It's not talent. It's not motivation. It's not luck. It's discipline that carries you when nothing else will. Discipline is showing up when it's not convenient. It's doing the work even when you don't feel like it. It's saying no to distraction, no to shortcuts, no to the easy way out. People talk about what they want all day long, but wanting something doesn't mean anything if your actions don't match. Discipline means your actions speak louder than your desires. It means you've made a decision and you're going to follow through no matter what. Oh, there will be days when you feel unstoppable and there will be days when you feel like quitting. Discipline doesn't care about either. It shows up anyway. It says, I made a commitment and I'm keeping it and I'm keeping it. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent, one step at a time, one rep at a time, one decision at a time. That's how you build something real. Discipline is not about going hard one day and slacking the rest. It's about showing up every single day, even when the excitement is gone, even when the motivation runs dry. Motivation is a feeling. It comes and goes, folks. Some days you're fired up, and other days you're exhausted, discouraged, and uninspired. If you rely on motivation, you'll never build anything that lasts. But discipline doesn't wait for the right mood. It moves regardless. It's the internal voice that says, I don't care how I feel. I care about what I said I do. And that mindset is the difference between wishing for success and working for it. That's the difference between average and excellence. So people admire discipline from the outside, but they don't always understand the sacrifice behind it. It means waking up before the sun. It means saying no to things others say yes to. It means choosing long-term gain over short-term pleasure. Discipline is not glamorous. It's not always loud. Sometimes it's just quietly doing the work behind closed doors while everyone else is out chasing comfort. But that quiet work, that's where the real transformation happens. That's where you separate yourself from the crowd. Success doesn't come from one big moment. It comes from 1,000 small moments where you choose discipline over doubt, where you choose action over excuses, where you choose to keep pushing when it would be easier to stop. Every time you choose discipline, you're casting a vote for the future you want. You're building habits, mindset, resilience. You're creating a standard for how you operate, and that standard becomes your lifestyle. And once discipline becomes your default, nothing can stop you. Not setbacks, not obstacles, not failure. Discipline is what keeps you grounded when things get hard. It's what helps you stay focused when distractions try to pull you off course. In a world that's constantly trying to make you soft, discipline makes you sharp. It makes you focused. It makes you strong. Everyone wants the results, but few are willing to embrace the process. And the process is where discipline lives. It's in the early mornings, the late nights, the lonely hours, the relentless repetition. That's where champions are made. That's where greatness is built. And it's not just about grinding for the sake of it. It's about becoming the kind of person who honors their word, who finishes what they start, who shows up with integrity even when no one's watching. Discipline builds character. It builds confidence. When you do hard things, when you keep promises to yourself, you start to believe in your own power. You stop waiting for someone else to save you or push you. You become your own engine, your own fire, your own force of nature. The truth is, discipline isn't just a tool. It's a lifestyle. It's a way of thinking, a way of being. It means you've made a decision about who you want to be, and you live in alignment with that decision every day, even when it hurts, even when it's boring, even when it feels like no one's watching or cares. Because deep down, you know that everything you want is on the other side of discipline. And if you stay locked in, if you stay hungry, if you keep doing the work no matter what, then eventually the results will come. The progress will show. The life you imagine will become the life you live. Not because of luck, but because of the choices you made every single day.